They want to be champions for climate change, but how can you champion climate change when you hop on private jets as much as they do, especially going straight or more or less straight from a climate change conference in New York to getting on a private jet and going to a Caribbean island? No reason why they can't do that, but they can't put their heads above the parapet and then do exactly what they're saying people shouldn't do.
No.
You know, like Leonardo DiCaprio, he had a hard time when he arrived at a climate conference in a private jet.
Because it's hypocritical, isn't it? I mean, it's ludicrous.
It's
Also,
totally
they're very wealthy people, and they're still talking about how, you know, delicate they are and how hard done by they are and how difficult it all is. And we've seen what Spotify have been saying about them. We've seen the Netflix thing not really going as well as it perhaps ought to have done. You know, some would say the Beckhams sort of, you know, up close and personal documentary is the way it should be done. And it's hard to know where they go from here.
It's very hard to know where they go from here, and it's hard to know, you know, where their support really is, and do they have any support? I mean, I know that they have the Sussex squad who are huge supporters, and anyone that, you know, should dare to speak out unkindly about Harry and Meghan get a very hard time from what we call the Sussex squad. But genuinely, what kind of support do they have, and what do they really want to do? You're quite right, Mike. We don't know, and we should know by now. It would be nice to know. And then one can perhaps, you know, talk about them in a sort of fairer way if we knew what they were trying to do. I actually feel that their PRs don't know what they're doing either. So surely they don't go from the climate conference onto a private jet, just to do it a bit more subtly. I mean, they're entitled to travel how they like, but, you know, just putting up one thing and then doing another, as you say, is so hypocritical, and that's what makes people really angry.
But that's the thing, and that's how it looks. And then appearing at Formula One, you know, possibly the least green sport that you could pick, yes, after having told everybody that the climate is in dire need of saving, and of course their mental health is at risk because of all the terrible emissions that are going on. I mean, Formula One, seriously? I mean, it's got to be the most, you know, heavy carbon footprint of any business, because it's not only do the people drive around in cars at 200 odd miles an hour, you know, they fly everything around the world, an incredible kind of, you know, amount of planes and trains and automobiles and Pantechnicons and all of that, and they move it all around the world for each its successive race. And there he is, seemingly getting sort of privileged access to the pits and walking around with lanyards on. So, you know, what was that about?
Well, I mean, he's perfectly entitled to do that, and you know, why shouldn't he love motor racing? But again, you're absolutely right,
it's
Mikey.
killing the
be
climate.
One thing or be.
It's killing the climate, Ingrid.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. What I meant was rhetorically, why shouldn't someone love motor racing? But you can't. I mean, you're right. Absolutely, everything you said is right. Of all sports, that is probably the most dangerous for the climate. And there's Harry. You know, it seems really stupid. He employs a lot of people to tell him what to do or to tell him how to do things, and yet he goes and does something like that.
Yeah.
Now, none of this would matter to anyone if he wasn't constantly going on about what people should be doing to preserve the climate.
Yeah. Also, I don't think the Mercedes team will be that keen to see him show up again in the pit lane with them, because shortly after he met them all and met Toto Wolff, the boss of Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton got disqualified.
Yes, exactly. Maybe he's not very lucky. Yeah, a bit unfortunate, exactly.
You know, the curse of the Sussexes might have hit. But, you know, seriously, though, so book-wise, where are we? Because we think that Meghan Markle's supposed to be writing a book. He was supposed to have another episode in him, was he not? Supposed to be writing another book as well? Is that all on hold now?
They did a three-book deal. So in order to reap the financial reward, they've got to produce two more books. I don't think Meghan's children book, I don't think the book she wrote, you know, which is called The Bench for children, I don't think that was part of the deal.
No.
So there's still more books to come. Otherwise, they're not going to get the money. So they seem to, I mean, maybe that's what Meghan's been doing all this time. Maybe she has been writing her autobiography, or obviously not writing it herself, but doing it with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just all very odd. I mean, as far as the rest of the royal year is concerned, I mean, we'll always have their names sort of thrown back at us at some point as it gets towards Christmas, you know, because the Christmas kind of new royal family year will be the sort of, you know, it will still feel like it's kind of only a year on from the death of the Queen, and King Charles is still very much feeling his way through, I suppose, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that King Charles will ask his son and daughter-in-law, you know, to come to Sandringham for Christmas. But I mean, I don't think for one moment they will do that. I mean, but you know, the kids are getting older, and they might say, "We'd really like to go," and in which case, Meghan's going to have to just bite her lip, and she's just going to have to go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of repeats of this up and down the country at Christmas where certain parts of the family don't want to meet up with other parts of the family. You know, it's a familiar old story, isn't it, for an awful lot of people? But for them, it's just really very, very awkward. I can't imagine the scene, really, where even Harry and William are in the same room together.
Nor can I. And then you've got all the others there as well. I think, and Queen Camilla, who Harry's been very disparaging about. I can't see it happening. Why would you want to put yourself through that? You wouldn't, would you?
No.
I think maybe they'll wait a bit till the kids get older, and you know, I'm sure that Kate and William's kids would absolutely love to fly to California and see their cousins. So they're going to have to start thinking about these things soon. But I think they've got enough to worry about without worrying about Harry and Meghan at the moment.